So you wanna go to war with me? You're talking like you think you're royalty. You think that I'm afraid, but I don't break. I heard you question my stability. You think I'll fall just like a guillotine, but I am here to stay. Won't look away. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control, feel it in my bones. I'm coming for the, coming for the.
All right, guys, how we doing tonight? Happy Friday. Let's see who our late night stay-at-home drinking buddies are this weekend. What's up? Michael, Juicy, Billy, Blazin', what's up, amigo? Jeffrey, good evening. Devastator. What a fucking busy day. How was your guys' day? Who's got something excited planned for the weekend? King Arthur, what's up? Rishi, good evening. Craig, what's up? Gorilla Gardener, good evening. I am just now slowing down for the day. It's 10:30 here. God, man, I had to take some Benadryl this morning, so I did get a midday nap. The allergies have been bothering me for the last 2 days. An unintended nap in the middle of the day while I was finishing up my studying. Don't ever try and study while you're on 2 Benadryl tablets. Let me tell you that. Jeff, good evening. Sufyan CPA, what's up? Owning the float, what's going on? What's good? Family says capital letters. Uh-oh. The bot smacked you. We call that the disco nap. Oh, Lord. So, what an interesting day. We had some Chinese low float stocks in action today. Let me know in the chat if you made any money or you lost money on those. That was definitely one. Another one for the record books. We had, what else? Oh, we had the letter from Judge Zern to the attorneys on the plaintiff and defendant side on their agreed upon settlement. I was really wondering. I was trying really hard yesterday or whenever we went over it not to interject a whole lot of opinion into my coverage.
Have a drink on me, Tony. Love
Grandpa, thank you. I'm going to have a drink. First one of the night, Grandpa. I was wondering when we were going through that proposed settlement how they just had all the words in there about electronic notification, when I clearly heard the judge tell them on Monday that you need to mail, and they just tried to, let's just see if she catches this. Oh yeah, she caught it. She's a very thorough judge, Judge Zern. And I didn't hear any, I didn't hear any wiggle room in the way she talked on Monday. So I was a little surprised that they tried that, but they didn't get away with it. Zern is stern. I like that one. I'm going to keep that in mind for the next title. Let's see what we got for cigar selection tonight. I have never had a Java cigar. Well, that's what we're smoking tonight. I'm hoping that I get a message, and Sufyan, if you see one, let me know. Steven and a couple other folks are in Vegas right now with Adam Aaron, and we have some questions loaded up, some questions that haven't been asked before that we'd like answers to. We're always trying to think of good questions that no one's asked already. So maybe we can get Steven to call in to the show And let's see, I caught up on the Substack, which is, I don't know if you guys aren't familiar with Substack. It's like a blog, a paid blog for Chance the Lawyer. I don't know how much it is a month. Just one more expense that my YouTube channel has to cover. But she provides such good insight, and particularly in this case, her not being in AMC, she's just an attorney and an attorney that reports on the Delaware Court of Chancery. I find her insight so refreshingly unbiased. She did a very, very, very long, probably, I'm a quick reader. It took me 30 to 40 minutes probably to read it. Probably doesn't help that it's all referencing legal jargon and, you know, previous cases and stuff. But she did like a soup to nuts type write-up of how we got from 2020 all the way to where we are today with this lawsuit. I tried to post it in the Discord, and if you're in the Discord, you can, you know, she's not a sponsor of the show or anything. I just think like if you, however much it costs, $5, $10 a month, if you want someone that's relatively unbiased, even more than me, about analyzing the legalities of this case. I understand both emotional sides. I get that. I'm trying my best, even though no one likes it on either side, to tell you what I think is going to happen just based on the judge being impartial and following the law. And I know that's not popular, but if you want even further step removed, someone who's not even invested in the play, because obviously I have some bias, I'm invested. Chance the Lawyer's Substack is a good one, or go follow her on Twitter. If I could summarize that for you guys, she started out talking about how, you know, AMC was a low-priced stock in 2020, and then the pandemic hit, and then they thought they were going to have to file bankruptcy, and then lo and behold, the meme stock revolution began, and the price ran up, and much like my video that I put out about a week ago, the CEO handbook video, I saw what Chance was writing. I was like, she's quoting someone who like read the CEO handbook besides me. I'm not the only one that knows about it. And I think it was Matt, what the hell's his name? Something with the L. I want to say Matt Levine, but I don't know if that's it. Anyways, he was saying CEOs, when they have no cash and they're about to go bankrupt, if someone runs your stock price up and you've got available shares, what do? You fucking sell them. And that is in the CEO handbook. That is actually in the video I did for you guys a week ago. So that's what AMC did. And of course they did. All CEOs do that. Any CEO would do that, because it's either that or you go bankrupt. Then she went on to talk a little bit about the share offerings that AMC tried to do and then had to pull back. And her theory was that he didn't really want to do them. I mean, maybe he did, but he was gauging social media, how people on social media reacted to it, and he didn't get a very good reaction, so he pulled it. Even though he sure wished that he could have done an additional share offer and like gone through it, but he didn't think he would have the votes. And you know, you got to have a majority of outstanding shares. And like even in the most recent vote, when we did the AMC side of the one in March, they couldn't get a majority of the common to vote because retail just doesn't show up. So between the social media reaction and the fact that he realized he wasn't going to get 50% showing up, much less to approve it, then they just canceled those. And then that probably at that time, you know, they crossed their fingers and hoped they could get profitable before they ran out of cash. But you know, came around to about August of 2022. Again, I'm quoting a story from Chancery Daily. This is not me. But I mostly agree with this, and I thought it's worth repeating. She also talked about the 11 million shares in the height of the frenzy that they sold. Remember that back in, I think it was June of 2021, he sold 11 million. And she pointed out all the warnings that were in the filings, like the current price of the stock probably doesn't, probably not in relation to what it's worth. Like the company was warning you that it was overpriced because of a short squeeze. And then she went on to say, but how many people read the 8Ks? Yeah, same shit I talk about all the time. Nobody reads the filings. We just listen to Matt and Trey. So people piled in despite many, many warnings from AMC in the prospectus and in the 8Ks that you were going to pay too much and you were probably going to lose your money. I mean, it's all there in the filings from AMC when they sold those shares. But that's, like Chance said in her article, that's water under the bridge now. Then they got to August and they realized they're running low on cash. What do? Well, I mean, you're facing potential bankruptcy. You come up with the plan to use those blank check preferred stock and raise more cash. And Chance also said, that was not illegal, but maybe it's a questionable area, and I've said the same thing. It's a questionable area. Well, actually, I don't know if I've said this, but I agree with it. It is questionable if what they did with Allegheny was it in the best interest of shareholders? That's a hot topic to debate, and I could debate either side. I could say, hell no, it was not in our benefit, because when they created APE and then it got diluted, obviously we lost a lot of market cap and personally, and all of us, a lot of share value. But on the other hand, the other side of the argument, which I could make equally vociferously, is that the alternative of not doing anything was run out of cash. So literally they created APE to not go bankrupt. And that also would have harmed shareholders. So which is the lesser of two evils? Do a deal with Antara to ensure the vote and get the shares you need to create future life, or just let the company go bankrupt and do nothing with the preferred? Someone also said in the comments, well, why didn't they raise more debt, Tony? Why didn't they just raise more debt? AMC is a distressed financially company. I mean, you go ask anyone that knows about finance to look at the balance sheet, there would be zero argument that this is a distressed company. The balance sheet's overweighted on debt. There's almost no cash left, and the company's losing $200 to $280 million a quarter. There's no arguing that. I mean, you can argue it, but if you go talk to anybody in finance or Wall Street, or even your accountant in your little hometown, no one would argue that it's a distressed company. So raising debt is not practical, and adding to the balance sheet more debt just compounds a currently existing problem that would bring shorts to AMC like chum in the water. So adding more debt is really it's not a palatable option. It is an option. It's not going to help any of us. It would get them cash, but you're putting more debt on already a $5 billion fucked up balance sheet. So it's not a lot of great options. Just like if I could unattach, I would say there's not a lot of great options here other than dilute shareholders. So AMC is not the first, and it won't be the last money losing company that was heavily loaded up with debt that resorted to an equity raise to try and get themselves out of the lurch. But what is different, like when I look at all of these other companies that people are playing, all these troubled penny stocks that are doing reverse splits and dilution, the one thing that I like about AMC that makes it very different, the one reason I'm in this play, all the plays I say, no, I wouldn't touch that one. I looked at that a year ago. Wouldn't touch it, still wouldn't touch it now. The one thing that AMC has going for it is the box office and the revenues are increasing every year. We're moving to a path of recovery. This whole story is just now about getting to next year to that to those back-to-back profitable quarters. That is the play. If we can get a short squeeze in the meantime, beautiful. But if we can't, you got to focus on option B. And I'm not going to ever advocate for option C, which is let it go bankrupt. And I don't think the executives are either, honestly. So, the general advice, just whatever you take from this play, however long you're in this play, whenever you get out of this play, the general advice I'm going to always be repeating on this channel. If you're going to hold something, and we talked about it in the Discord, in a Discord chat again today. If you're going to hold something more than overnight, more than a couple days, make sure you know what you're buying. Take a quick look at the balance sheet. Does everything look okay there? I've got 3 videos for you guys where you can look at a balance sheet, an income statement, and a cash flow in about 30 seconds and know if you got a troubled company or not. You don't even need to be a CPA. Got some very basic instructions for you. And I'd love to see you guys make that part of your habits before you buy something. So you got to look at it and decide, is this a troubled company or is this a great company? Great meaning they're booking profits and the profits are increasing every quarter. That's like a bare minimum. If they're losing money or they have no revenue like Mullen, you got a troubled company. And it's very likely not to ever turn out well for you. There's, people... If you got a great business like Amazon and it's growing and growing and growing, you can lose money for a long time. But a lot of the stocks that I see people buying aren't growing at a rate sufficient enough to get themselves out of the hole, and they just end up getting diluted into the ground. Hang on one second. Let me smoke this cigar up, and then we'll see what's in the chat. So look at the financial statements. Oh, that's good. Look at the financial statements. Look and see if there's any upcoming dilution. Look and see, do they have the potential for dilution? Like Highcroft. Highcroft's got a shit ton of potential. They could drop shares on us at any time. The issued versus authorized, there's very little issued, but the amount they can issue in the future, the authorized, is very high. Those are things that I look for, and it only takes a couple seconds. But at least then, if you get into it, you know what you're getting yourself into, and if the worst happens, that you get a dilution, you can say, well, I went into this knowing that was potentially going to happen. And if a company gets in trouble, like they're running low on cash, they will always dilute you. I want you guys to learn to expect that. That's how I'm so unemotional on this. Like, this is so easy to see, coming from a long way away. My beverage tonight is a Kentucky straight bourbon. It's called 2 stars. It was a rough week. I couldn't afford 5 stars. Grandpa says, I love it when Tony goes 10 grit.
Let's get Tony drunk. I love it when he goes 10 grit.
Grandpa.
For beating shield steak.
I really don't want to argue with anyone, Grandpa. I just had a couple things to get off my chest. And I mean all of that sincerely, and not to berate anybody or make anyone feel bad, but I honestly want you guys to learn and ingrain this stuff in your habits so that we avoid future mistakes. or we don't blame the wrong person. Like blaming Adam Aaron right now, I think is completely the wrong. I mean, he's doing what any CEO would do. I'll just leave it at that to try and not make too many more enemies tonight. Is there a specific website to look at balance sheets? Six Sun, good question. You can go, I'll give you a couple free ones. Yahoo Finance is one easy one. There's another website I use called stockanalysis.com. You could use that. You could go to the SEC Edgar website and type in the company's ticker, and it has the actual company filings, but then you got to open those up and scroll down and look at find the financial tables. But any of those work, and I use all of them almost interchangeably, depending on what I'm looking for. But if you don't know how to do that, or if that intimidates you, go watch those 5-second videos that I made. Read a balance sheet in 5 seconds. It will change your life in avoiding getting in the dumpster on plays. Again, if it doesn't matter, if you're day trading it, you don't need to do that. If you're holding it more than a couple days, you have a couple minutes to go look that stuff up. DevStat says, Devastator says, seeing Adam Aaron clips, is that from Vegas? Adam beat the shorts real soon, or what is that? He's having fun in Vegas? Yeah, Steven, Just Another Ape is out there right now, and I'm hoping that he'll message me and we can get him to give us some thoughts. But it's only 8 p.m. in Vegas, so let's see. He says he won't be done for another 2 hours. He's with Kat and Adam Aaron right now. Cool. Dan says just date an accountant. Oh man, Dan, I need to make a video how to read financial statements. I'm going to do a short. I'm going to put Scarlett in some smart glasses and pan over to her in a business suit and say, just date an accountant. Doc Zeno, what's up, amigo? Cheers. Douglas says, I want to hear an argument as to how letting AMC go bankrupt will help your long investment. And yeah, I mean, these guys, they won't make that argument because they know that trying to argue short squeeze or bankruptcy, that's not an argument that goes over very well with most people. I get it. Some people believe that, and hey, I'm not going to try and talk you out of it, but I will not stand to let that stuff go unmet without a voice of reality. Like, I know my audience for sure. None of you guys are here for bankruptcy. That's not an option on your option list. So they can hate on me all they want. They can troll and call names. It's easy to block. But we are not here for bankruptcy. We are all here for a squeeze. We all believe that there's more shares sold than AMC knows about. And that potential is always there. But if it doesn't happen on the time frame we want, in the meantime, getting the fundamentals fixed is the best way to ensure we don't go to zero, and we don't end up in a Bed Bath & Beyond type situation. Because I literally would be sick to have to hear from tens of thousands of people who watched their investment go to 10 cents. And I'm not going to sit here and advocate like some of these other YouTubers. I want it to go bankrupt if I can't have my way. Well, you're not very caring of millions of people then, is my answer. It seems rather selfish. GT, what's up? Doc Zeno, can you ship me one of those infused martinis? Gorilla Gardner says, honest, dumb question. Other than the judge's ruling, what is the difference between mailed info and electronic info about the class action? What do you mean? Like if you file an objection or a letter of support? Is that what you're asking? A couple of other things while I'm waiting for Gorilla to answer. As I was reading through the notice, it said in big black bold letters at the last page of the notice, do not contact the court about this notice. To me, that's saying, you know, we don't want you mailing us your objections. One page up above that, they gave you very detailed instructions of how to submit your objection to the plaintiff's attorney. And I'm hearing people, you know, these conspiracy people, I don't know if I trust the plaintiff's attorney. Like literally, you guys don't trust anybody. But, hey, I mean, I can't change your mind about trusting people. And I get where you're coming from, but I asked Chance the lawyer, is it standard in settlements for the class to be instructed to mail objections to the plaintiff's attorney? She said, yes, absolutely. That is standard. The court does not want to be burdened with reading 70, 100, 200 letters. What did they say on the phone call? They've received, on Monday, I think they had received 70 letters, I think is what the judge said. I don't know. The number 70 sticks out in my mind.
I believe in AMC, I no longer trust AA. Bankruptcy nope. Keep doing great work TD, celebratory gesture, praying gesture, heart.
Owning the Float, do you want to come in and share some additional thoughts? Because I know you're a respectable adult. You can have an adult conversation. I have no problem with people coming in here and sharing different viewpoints. And you got to see him firsthand, and you got a certain feeling about him. If you want to come tell us about that, for folks that haven't caught your videos, I'd love to have you come speak. I say, guys, trust no CEO, but understand their mission and understand.
Grandpa loves owning the float. Heart, 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 heart.
Grandpa
heart,
loves you too. I say trust no CEO, but understand their mission. And understand the CEO handbook. Go watch my video on the CEO handbook. Everything they do makes logical financial sense. And it's like you got the secret playbook of the opposing team. You can predict what they're going to do very easily if you memorize that CEO handbook. Ellie says, Boss Blunts mentioned that the shorts will pay the 1 for 7.5 settlement. I think that is correct, Ellie, that they will owe the person they borrowed the shares from that let's call it a dividend. If a dividend's paid out, and you're short and you sold those shares to someone else, well, if they sold a share to me, I'm going to get the 1 for 7.5. But when they return it when they close and they return it back to the lender, they're going to owe that extra share. Yeah. I think that makes sense. What is it about mailing the class action info that must be mailed? Why not email? So from reading Judge Zern's letter today, and also similar concerns voiced by Chance the lawyer, our little Twitter contact, and she said she might be able to come on this coming week and talk to us some more. I enjoyed having her on as a guest a week ago. The standard in the Delaware Court of Chancery in a settlement is that notifications to the class of a settlement must be mailed. And AMC in this case was saying, hey, we got a play that's mostly retail. This is not like your normal stock, Your Honor, and the cost is going to be exorbitant compared to a normal mailing. And we really just want to do electronic notifications through the SEC, 8Ks, posting on our website, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I'm just, not all of that. But AMC didn't want to spend a couple $1 million. And guys, that's our money, right? I know everybody's chuckling up and having a great old time that AMC's spending that money. That's our fucking money that's being spent. So at the end of the day, I don't really care. If that is the standard of the court, then do the standard of the court. But if you're laughing at AMC having to pay it, you're paying it. That's coming out of your earnings per share. I want you to know that. That's going to be an expense to you on your income statement of the company you own. So it's not really funny to me, but I think that if that's what the court demands and that is the norm, that is what should be done. Mail it. And sorry, AMC, sorry, all of us. That is the price we pay. But it's not funny. We all lose from that. But adequate notification should go out to everybody. That I agree. It is. It's our money. I mean, this is your company. All right. Owning the float. Hey, you can't come on tonight because you got the kiddo. I get it. Anytime you want to come on, if I'm on live, you have an open invitation because you are one of the good ones. I appreciate that you can voice your opinions and still be an adult. Lauren says, that's a good question, Lauren. Why do 99% of shareholders have to be affected by one tiny state? When you incorporate, you have the option to incorporate in any state. In fact, I have several corporations myself for my businesses. And the first thing my attorney always asks me is, what state do you want to incorporate in? And you have to think about that when you're starting a company, if you're going to create a corporation. Now, Delaware has very favorable laws for corporations, which is why most big corporations end up incorporating in Delaware. So why are we subject to Delaware? That is the home base incorporation, state of incorporation for AMC, GameStop, Tesla. I mean, the list is thousands and thousands. And they have, 100+ years of corporate law and rulings there. So rulings that are made in the Delaware Chancery Court end up having, Chance the lawyer told us, it ends up having worldwide ramifications. That's how serious people take rulings from that court. Yeah, Dan, I mean, I don't know. I would assume that all shareholders, including international, need to be notified. Joey says it's good for the post office, I guess, right? Sergalog says people need to realize we need this case to get dismissed or the settlement approved. I think at this point, since a settlement has been agreed upon between the plaintiff and the defendant, there's, in my mind, again, I'm not an attorney, but I'm familiar with the legal process, very little chance that it would be dismissed because there's already a settlement. The court wants a settlement and get it off their damn docket. Now, the court is also impartial. The court is not for retail. It's not for AMC. It is supposed to be impartial, and I think Judge Zern has done a great job of doing that. I think, based on what I've read from Chance, the lawyer, she has a lot of respect for Judge Zern as being very thorough, not easily steamrolled, and very fair. And Judge Zern's ultimate job at the end of June is going to be to hear any objections that come in, to look at the settlement. She has, access to all the briefs that will be filed. And she will decide then if the settlement is truly fair. If in her analysis the settlement is fair, she can pass it. She can approve it. And she said she's not going to do a bench ruling that day. She's going to write up an order. So it might be a day or two. But she could also say that the settlement is not fair and that they need to go back to work and make it better for the common stockholders. That is a potential outcome. But dismissal, I just doubt that is likely. The other thing, I hear a lot of people talking about a share count, and some people think that this lawsuit was to stop Ape and create a short squeeze. Maybe I need to go back and read all the plaintiff's arguments, but I don't think the plaintiff was arguing we came here for a short squeeze. The plaintiff argued that they thought that there was a breach of fiduciary duty from selling such a large amount of Ape to Antara, and thus, I'll just say it, rigging the vote. They didn't use the word rigging, or maybe they did, but they thought that was a breach of fiduciary duty. And they also thought that Ape was illegal. But we know now that they just lost a case March 29th in the Delaware Court where they were arguing the same thing. So Ape is not illegal. It is a gray area. It is a matter of debate whether what AMC did with Antara was legal or not. And as far as instructing CompuShare to vote in proportion, when I was reading Chance's very long blog post, she mentioned a couple of other, and I need to go find these filings. I'll show them to you guys. Citigroup also created a preferred equity unit like this. I told you guys there's been other companies that have done the same thing that AMC did. She said Citigroup did the exact same thing as AMC. Is already done in history. They did the creation of the preferred unit, and they instructed ComputerShare or whoever their agent was to vote in proportion. So AMC's not like really breaking ground here. But I think there's maybe, there was an opportunity for the judge to rule on it, but now we got a settlement. So I don't know. I don't think we'll get any ruling on anything. Mike says, what's to stop Adam Aaron from requesting blue sheets? I don't know. I don't think anything's stopping him from doing anything. Yes, Lauren, even though their headquarters is physically located in Kansas, the state of incorporation is Delaware. Most big corporations are in Delaware. AV Diggity says, why do you still hold AMC and Ape? I'm assuming you believe that you can make a profit. How do you envision best case scenario? I'm in a little bit more unique situation, AV Diggity, than some, because I bought my first AMC back in late May of 2021, but I also bought call options. And the more I started seeing it go up from 8, 9, 10, 12, I started loading up on the call options because I thought that there was a good chance it could squeeze. And as soon as it started running up 40, 50, 60, 70, I started selling those call options. So I already made all of my profit on this play. My shares, for me holding them now, it's not fun seeing them in the red, because I continued to buy some sporadically all the way through November of 2021, as high as $38, and I still have those. It's not fun to see them in the red, But overall in this play, I'm not in the red. I'm in the green by a long shot. And I've bought call options maybe 4 or 5 times over the last couple years. Every time AMC gets really, really low, I'll buy call options for 60 days out and then sell them when it pops up. Because there's always those lows and then the run up. So, I've been able to stay ahead on this play. It's a easier hold for me than for some. And I get it. That's a unique position for, it might not be everybody's position, but it's an easy hold for me. At this point, I think that there is a eventual recovery for the company in 2024 where they will have profitable quarters. But as long as I see high cost to borrow, high short interest, and high retail interest in the play, and as long as we are reasonably sure that the float is oversold, there's still a potential for another run-up. I've never been one to give price targets of what that is, but I have said that these guys telling you 500,000, 100,000, they're probably clickbaiting you. So whatever the run-up is, I would advise that you consider having some brackets to sell into the next run-up, were there to be one. That's just me. My opinion clearly is not shared by the majority of people. There are thousands, tens of thousands of people that assume this is destined to go to $100,000. I'm more practical. If I can make a good return, then I'm happy. And I'll have brackets also. I'll have at least one bracket that I hold for the moon. Ellie says, what is the most likely catalyst? Ellie, that is a good question. I like the phrase that I've been using it for 2 years, Ellie. You guys don't hear me talking really about catalysts except one, because most every catalyst that any other channel's talked about, when I investigate it, I end up not seeing what they're seeing. And just based on so many years of doing this, the thing that gets people in trouble, shorts, is quite often things they can't anticipate. So I like the phrase, the unknown catalyst. The thing that they're not planning for, the thing they didn't foresee, is what's going to trip them up. What could that be? I don't know. I mean, I could have some ideas, like the liquidity crisis could be one. Banks failing and creating some domino effect in the market. Who knows what weird effects that could have. I'm not big fans of those because it's gonna massively wipe out millions of people's portfolios. Potentially at our benefit. But I'm more thinking like a catalyst, like some announcement that AMC comes up with that they weren't expecting. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, and even if I did know what the catalyst was, I sure wouldn't put it on social media. If there's one thing we've learned from Steven, Steven is a bookmaker for a sports gambling outfit in Vegas. They have teams. They have teams that monitor the tout services. And if you're making YouTube content saying what the next play is, you are in essence a tout service. And I think we would be foolish to assume that the shorts aren't monitoring the big voices in any community. Steven says they monitor people on social media that promote how to bet on sports. They monitor it so they know what's coming and they can adjust. I think we collectively would be foolish to assume that the shorts aren't doing that, especially if they have any substantial amount of money at risk. They're monitoring social media and maybe actively countering what we're trying to make happen. I was watching HKD Top Meagle. You know, I think our leading theory on that is probably some sort of Chinese money laundering. It's really low volume, low float, crazy price action, probably some illegality going on there. I stayed away from those plays. I played HKD and Meagle. We made money on those last year, but I have not been playing them this week. The SEC and the big boards have been watching those plays a lot more closely. Specifically low float Chinese IPOs they've been watching. This kind of came out of nowhere. I don't think it was related to AMC or GameStop or anything else. Have I touched on the filing today about trying to name the DTCC as defendants? I have not. I think that I've said that to many people in the comments, though, that are like, how do we get a share count, Tony? Let's talk about share count for a second. I know a lot of people are thinking like we can get a share count or we can get the judge's attention if we just write letters. The plaintiffs did not file anything about wanting to cause a short squeeze or that they thought that the share count was incorrect or that they thought the vote was rigged. Like people are saying not all the votes were counted, for example. We know not everybody got their proxy, and we can talk about that in a minute, but I don't think that the judge is going to address share count because it's not an argument in this case. Now, I could be wrong. That's just my opinion. If someone were able to make a motion to intervene and that is one of their complaints and they get that complaint in front of the judge, then maybe. But right now I haven't seen, I don't have all of the motions to intervene committed to memory. Correct me if I'm wrong, if share count was brought up in any of them. But in specific to share count, AMC is going to say the share count is what we publish on a regular basis. And I think that if we, all of us, ever want to get anywhere in unearthing the real share count, someone's going to have to sue the DTCC. And I don't really see how they get adjoined to this case as a defendant, because this case was specific to financial harm to the common stock shareholders through the creation of APE and the proposal to join them back together. So I still say, write whatever letters you want, put whatever you want in them. Can't hurt, but don't be surprised if that doesn't get any attention from the judge. If it does, great. I'd love to see somebody sue the DTCC. We got Genius, we got Hellbiz, we got Cosmos, we got all these, well, I don't know about Cosmos. We got many, many companies that have hired West Christian and say they're pursuing legal action. Mullen said they're hiring someone now. I haven't seen any lawsuits filed against the DTCC. That tells me something. It tells me, first of all, it's going to be a multi-year process, but they all seem to be pursuing very niche arguments in those West Christian cases. Like, oh, we found one entity that was failing to deliver. We need better than that, Wes. I want to see you sue the DTCC. So Mr. Ape for AMC, I will go look for that filing. I have not seen it, but thank you for giving me a heads up. I will certainly read it. I'm trying to keep up with all of this stuff. Brett says, so it's not an issue in this case, so someone could make a new lawsuit. Yes. Yeah. But I would say, just my opinion, you know, I don't think you sue AMC for share count. AMC is doing their duty to provide you a share count. Their share count is what they have legally issued. That's the extent of their duty. Everything that's happening, guys, is happening on the Wall Street side. So someone needs to sue the DTCC and get discovery there. Maybe we could convince AMC to do it on our behalf, or maybe we could just do it ourselves. But then I see, like, when I watch the MMTLP people try and fight FINRA, and FINRA saying, oh, as we have all these immunities, you can't sue us. I just feel like the deck is so stacked and rigged against us. It's infuriating. Joshua says, when you cash out your options, did you sell them or exercise them? I sold them, man. I knew, look, I'm going to shoot you straight. When I see a stock go from $7 to 70, you know, I had just literally discovered it a week before. I'm going to fucking sell that option. I was 1 week into watching that play. I certainly had no dreams in my head that it was going to $100,000. I was watching my portfolio spin like a Ferrari that just hit the accelerator on a 100-yard dash. So it was a sell, 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 sell. Sold those bitches quick because I've been trading options 30 years. I know what happens if you don't punch the sell button. And I had enough of them. I could sell them as it went up. I didn't sell them all at $10. Every time it went up, I was selling them. I've held a lot of options all the way up and all the way back down. And let me tell you that ride back down usually happens fast on a squeeze. So I had no way would I exercise them. I already had shares also. AV Diggity says, good question here. If Adam Aaron dilutes after reverse split, how many shares can he offer? It's about 400 million, give or take. Can he sell a boatload to get AMC out of debt? Then what? We have ongoing daily debates in the Discord about this, Mr. Diggity. Mostly on phone calls, Discord discussions. And we don't know. We don't know what he's going to do. He could sell. Let's just say that after the reverse split and conversion, it comes out at $30, like Adam Aaron said on that secret recording. And I think that's a reasonable price. It's probably going to end up being about 30 after the conversion and reverse split. I think that's reasonable. Let's just say that he issues dilution for 100 million shares. That's $3 billion, right? If I do my math right. 100 million times 30. But we know when he issues the announcement, typically when they issue an announcement or a prospectus that that there's quite often a price drop. So let's just be even more conservative then on how much cash could they raise. Let's say he's only able to raise $2 billion because the price starts dropping. What would he do with $2 billion? Would he pay off the debt, or would he just fix the balance sheet and ensure that they have enough cash to survive till next year, when we expect, if things continue progressing the way they're going, that we could have multiple profitable quarters? That's what I would like to see. Just put it all in cash. Leave it on the balance sheet. Maybe buy some treasuries with that cash. On the other hand, if he sold 200 million or 300 million, the downside is it would push the price down even more from all that dilution. That would be my reasonable, unemotional, unbiased expectation. But let's say in that scenario, he raised 5 billion. Then he could have 2 billion in cash and pay off some of the debt, or acquire some Regal cinemas if they're bankrupt. And so I don't know. I don't know what he's going to do, but he could sell 400 million. I just think that would be, it would be really painful to us that are holding if he tried to sell 400 million shares. I certainly hope that he does not do that. But he could. I can't tell you what he's going to do. I can just lay out what all the scenarios are. We are, I think collectively in my Discord, we're hoping if he does dilution, that he only does enough, the minimal amount, to get enough cash to survive till next year. That would be my dream. He got what he wanted. He got the ability to raise cash. He didn't obliterate us with massive dilution. And we limp into next year with $2 billion on the balance sheet in cash. If I'm not going to be happy, if I see him say we plan on selling 400 million, the immediate pain is not going to be fun. Mexican Silverback, no, I don't watch drama channels, my friend. Some of these people are disturbed in the head. Lou Serlog says, I thought after conversion and reverse split, he said the price should be around 60. No, I don't think he said that. On the secret recording that we have, I say secret, just so you guys know what I'm talking about. But the one that the guy Robert did with him in the airport in Kansas City, he said 30. And by all the math and videos I've done where we kind of try and guess what the price will be, based on the current price right now of Ape and AMC, I think that's reasonable, around $30. Robert asked him, he's like, hey, Adam, let's just say, in that secret video, he said, Adam, let's just say that after the conversion, the price is $70. And Adam stopped him right there. He's like, it's not going to be $70. Okay, well, let's say 50. Adam, I think it's going to be more like 30. That's how that conversation went. Yeah, Grandpa, I should probably finish up the conversation about dilution. What we're all thinking, like if Adam Aaron were to sell 100 million and get 2 billion cash in the bank, and that fixes the balance sheet. It's definitely makes it look better than where we're at right now. That buys us 2 years. We could lose money for 2 years and be fine. But I don't think we're going to lose money in 2024, at least not anywhere near to the extent we have been for the last 2 years. If they get cash on the balance sheet and then they say the dilution's done and we just filled up the coffers with $2 billion, we are then expecting that even if the price went down because of a dilution announcement, that you'll get a bounce whenever he lets the world know that he has $2 billion in the bank. That's what we're expecting. That's not financial advice. That is my opinion and the opinion of others in my little circle. And much different than many other companies that do dilution. Like if you look at a Hellbiz or a Mullen, they're doing dilution and they're just still bleeding out the ass. They're not even close to they're nosediving into the ground at 500 miles an hour. We are climbing. We're headed to the clouds. So we have a chance of a very near-term chance next year of getting multiple back-to-back profitable quarters. I can't promise you that. That depends on Hollywood putting out all the movies and people continuing to go to the movies over streaming and, you know, a lot of things I can't control. But if things continue on the trajectory that they're on, I think that things look pretty good. You get multiple back-to-back profitable quarters plus cash in the bank and then maybe pay down some debt. The story changes. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me to finish the story, Grandpa. Sometimes I get distracted reading comments. I'm a professional says, how does the split play out with the price discrepancy if AMC and APE are close now? Well, what APE is at $1.50 and AMC is at $5.50. Now we got 60 days of uncertainty, and we still don't know how the judge is going to rule, but we kind of know. And I think that, you know, as we get closer to the settlement date, what I expect, I can't guarantee this, so don't hold me to this. But based on my belief, I just added a little more APE at $1.50 in the last 14 days. I forget which day. I talked about it on live when I did it and in the Discord. I think that there is a chance for another little push up on APE. So I could see APE going between $2 to $3 once we know the conversion's locked in. And I think that AMC will come down. I don't think they will meet exactly. Like they're not going to meet at 3 and 3 because my view on it is with the float being twice as high on APE, the price won't meet the price of AMC. That's how I'm looking at it. There's a lot of smart people I talk to that have a different viewpoint. I'd say ask around, make your own calculations. Don't trust anybody. You're here for my opinion. That's what I think. I would, you know, I thought buying APE at $1 was a great deal. 68 cents, fantastic. $1.50, I'm not as excited to buy it at $1.50, but I figured we were going to get a settlement agreement, so I bought some, and then we didn't get a pop. So, you know, I'm okay holding it for 60 days, see what happens. So it's an easy hold. Yeah, Mullen and Bed Bath & Beyond, I don't know what really to say. I don't want to sound like a dick, but it's everything about those two companies has to do with the financial statements and all of the filings. Like everything that was going to happen with Mullen and BBBY, you know, there's a reason the last 2 years I've been telling you guys don't buy Mullen. And there's a reason I've been saying since August of last year, don't buy Bed Bath & Beyond. I try not to beat up on them on a daily basis, only when there's like really good, worthwhile news to talk about. Not good news, but it was very predictable what's going to happen. Mullen, I think, is quite likely headed to either bankruptcy or someone's going to have to buy them out to save them. They just got, I don't know. I mean, we got this Lawrence Harge thing here that could be a game changer for them, but he hasn't completely sold. I'm not sold on him yet. And you know, I did just buy some Mullen at 10 cents, so I'm not trying to dog it out, but I bought so little that if I lost it all, and I said when I bought it, I'm okay with losing it all. I completely understand the risk. I've looked at the financial statements. It's an absolute train wreck. So it's a very, very small investment for me. I feel really upset at the people that just keep on pumping Mullen and Bed Bath & Beyond. It's just like they're living in a complete la-la world. Could they get a squeeze, a run up? It's like, yes, lightning can strike in your backyard. Nothing is impossible, but the chances of that happening are minimal. So I would keep your risk loaded accordingly. I think that in a couple days, Bed Bath & Beyond, when they get delisted, it's just gonna, if you think right now is bad, wait till they get dropped off the NASDAQ. I found it interesting that in their delisting notice, they didn't even say, most companies, when they say, hey, NASDAQ told us we're being delisted on May 3rd, you can find us on the pink sheets. Bed Bath & Beyond didn't even say, you can find us on the OTC. They just said, we're going to be delisted and the trading will be suspended. I found that odd. Like, well, what does that mean? Are you going to be available on the OTC? Should I assume that, or are you trying to tell me something by not saying something? I mean, in my view right now, since they didn't say you can find us on the OTC, there's, in my world, a chance that they might not trade ever again. I don't know. I can't promise you that. I hope for people that they will just bump down to the pink sheets, but it was odd to me. Go read some companies that got delisted. Almost all of them say that you can find us on the pink sheets after this date. DevStatter says, why would anyone jump on Mullen? I mean, I've noticed a troubling trend, like all of the people that what I call the conspiracy people in AMC, the people that put out this really horrible due diligence, and there's many of them. They just tell you things, but they don't have anything to back up what they say. All of a sudden, last week, they started talking about how great a play Mullen was. I bet you guys, if you watch any of them, you could name 4 of them off the top of your head that in the past week have started talking about Mullen. It's always very odd to me. Like, are these people really just, do they only look at price and they never look at dilution or financial statements? Or is this some coordinated effort by somebody that we don't know about to push people into a money-losing play? No sensible person would recommend these stocks. Nobody in their right mind would recommend these stocks without a fuck ton of disclosures that this company is losing hundreds of millions, 800 million a quarter. They have massive dilution coming. They're not creating any cars really till the end of 2024. You should not expect any revenue meaningful to come in for 2 years. I don't hear those disclosures. They just say it's cheap. Sounds good to me. Are they ignorant, or are they willfully deceiving you? I don't know. But it's odd that all of these AMC clickbait channels started pushing Mullen at the same time. I look for little patterns, and that is an odd one to me that I've noticed. Now, I can tell you, the reason I bought Mullen at 10 cents is I know how retail is. If any good news comes out, retail's going to push it up. But that's a fucking gamble. That's like going to Vegas and betting on black or red. You have no idea what the outcome is. It is literally random at this point. If you're buying Mullen at 10 cents, you could get 20 or 30 cents, or you could just as easily get zero. So no one in their right mind would recommend that play without a lot of warnings. And I don't hear those warnings. I just hear people saying, it's a great company. They got great products. Bros, you're missing the boat. You have done no real DD. It is a horrible sickness on YouTube that people stop their due diligence at the price is cheap. It was at $20 2 years ago. It's only 11 cents right now. Sounds good to me. I'm in. People that follow these clickbait channels, you will get wiped out. Stay with them long enough, you're going to be completely wiped out. Every now and then they get lucky and a little pop happens. That is luck. That's what we call luck. So if you're betting on luck, like I did when I bought Mullen at 10 cents, you want to wait and get in at the absolute cheapest price you think you can get in. And even what? Now I'm down, Mullen's down to 7 cents. Like I've already lost 30%. 7.5 cents. But I put in so little, it doesn't even matter. I know a reverse split's coming. I know they have no revenue, and I know they're going to do more dilution. So if I add up all those, the reverse split, it's going to keep dropping. It's already dropping. They'll reverse split, and the drop is going to continue, not because of the reverse split, but because it was already dropping. It's just going to continue until they post, some really, really good news. Yeah, the Mullen CEO keeps on paying himself. He has all these awards baked into the fine print. I do not trust that guy. Trust no CEO, but really don't trust one that keeps on missing deliverables. And he's unusually quiet. Would you think that's fair? Darthman says, I laugh at the Home Alone thumbnails that many YouTubers use. What is that? Is that the faces like this? If you ever see me do one of those thumbnails, come send a wellness check on me. Probably something wrong. Darthman says they think high short interest can trigger a short squeeze. On my red light, green light checklist, that some of y'all might have seen that. Do you guys want to see it? Anybody not seen it? High short interest is a red light. If you see high short interest on a play, that should be a big red caution flag to you. That should not mean everybody pile in. High short interest means I need to spend at least an hour figuring out why this fucker is being shorted. What is attracting these sharks to this play? Joey, like AMC at 26%. Yeah, I mean, why? You got to ask yourself, why are we being shorted? I will tell you the answer for AMC, because we're running out of cash. People are getting sick of me saying it, but I'm going to keep saying it. It's a fact. And you'll find out on May 5th, I think, that, we lost another couple $100 million. I hope I'm wrong. I'd love to make an apology video to the earnings forecast that I made and explain how I fucked it up. But usually when I make those, I'm pretty damn close. I don't do financial analysis based on pie in the sky, emotional hope. Like accounting is very black and white. I can hope that I'm wrong. I can hope that a short squeeze happens. I can hope a catalyst happens. But when it comes down to looking at domestic box office and looking at years and years of income statements and balance sheets, it's very easy to figure out what the numbers are going to be. The only way I'm wrong, really, I think, is if AMC did something that I didn't take into account. If there's a surprise in there. Yeah, Grandpa Barney, Lawrence Harge is the gentleman with the black box technology. The gentleman that got turned down by every other automotive company. But Mullen gave him a chance, and he's very thankful about that. He seems like a humble, genuine, truly nice fella. I have nothing to say bad about Mr. Harge. But as someone who comes from a career background in engineering and product development, I can tell you that if every other company turned him down, that automatically, to me, at least throws up yellow flags, if not red flags. If Ford and everybody else turned him down, I'm going to be a little skeptical. I want to see real world results. And he says he's doing it now in DC with their fleet of city or county owned Chevy Bolts. So that would make me happy to see some results from that. But I don't know. I mean, if you found someone that had the technology that would change the world and you were Ford, wouldn't you snap that guy up and hide him in a dark room somewhere? Even if you never used this technology, why would you let him go on to Mullen? Something seems fishy there to me. Trevor says, Tony, you spent $100 million on 7 shakes. Yeah, I've been spending an obscene amount of money, guys. Unlike most YouTubers, I go to the movies, sometimes multiple times per week, and I spend an obscene amount of money on concessions. And I challenge every YouTuber who's on YouTube crying 5 times a day to go, show us what you're doing to support the company. If you don't want to give them the chance to improve the balance sheet by doing an equity raise, show us how you're improving the income statement by advocating for increasing the revenue. Show us that you're going to the movies. Make 5 videos a day about movie reviews. Make 5 videos a day about you just ordered 4 cases of popcorn. Make 5 videos a day about anything to help this company instead of crying. Because you can be a victim or you can be proactive. And I'm going to fucking be proactive. I'm going to go to the movies. I'm going to spend my money in the company that I own, because not only does it help the company, but I get enjoyment out of it. And if I share it, someone else might go do it too. That's a win-win in my book. Hell of a lot better than me crying to you 5 times a day or bitching. If more people would do that, we could have a chance. If you don't want to improve the balance sheet, all right, I get it. We could still be friends, but improve the income statement then. Spend your money. Or advocate for other people to go to the movies or buy some popcorn. Look at this. Whoops. Lots of popcorn money spent right there, friends. Let me plug my ears back in. My cable got caught on my water bottle. One thing we know about One thing we know about Kentucky bourbon bottles, this just fell 4 feet to the floor. It didn't break. Built like a tank. Joey, I don't expect anybody. I will forgive anyone that lives an hour away from an AMC theater. I understand that I'm being a little over dramatic for effect, right? But my point is, all these people that are whining and complaining, they could do something positive, even if they can't go to a movie. There's a lot of positive things we could do to support the company instead of tearing it down. How would you want to buy AMC if you randomly decided to Google AMC and you see a bunch of people talking about how horrible the CEO is? Would you want to buy that stock? Like, do these people even realize what they're doing? We need 4 million, not 3.8 million. We need 5 million retail. Well, based on your channel, I would never buy this stock. Just saying. Like, I hope you see what you're doing. You are scaring people away, friend. Cheers. I haven't tried a bag of the microwave popcorn yet. I want to do a live where I try it for the first time live in front of you guys, but I'm still full from the dinner I made. So I don't think I'll be doing it tonight. Maybe tomorrow, midday. We did open one bag of the ready-to-eat popcorn. Now, we already bought like 6 or 8 bags a month ago, and it just got back in stock. So I got 6 more bags. I tried to leave some for the next guy, but I got 6 bags, and I got like 5 boxes of the microwave, which is way more than I need. So if you're in Central Texas, let me know. I will give you a box free of microwave popcorn. I just bought them because I know KC is always looking for popcorn, and he's working full-time in the day. I went to multiple stores. This shit was hard to find. So KC, you can have a box. Let me know. He lives 10 miles from me. Anyone else in Central Texas, if you can't find it, I will meet you and you can get a free box of microwave popcorn. I just need 1. That's enough to last me till my next trip to go buy more popcorn. It would be a bad look to overeat to the point of vomiting popcorn. Yeah, what I was gonna say, we opened yesterday one of the bags of the ready to eat, and I was sitting here finishing my videos of the day yesterday, and my wife came home from getting her nails done, and she pulled up the chair of pain. You guys remember the chair of pain? The old wooden chair. It's sitting right here next to me. And she pulled it up, and she was eating she made a quesadilla, and she was sitting here eating while I was finishing working. And then she had some of the popcorn. She's like, damn, this is really good. Like, really good. Is this the one that I liked the most? Because a month ago, we did a blind taste test. And she actually preferred the extra butter. And it was sold out when I went this week. There was no extra butter. There was just this classic. And I said, no, you actually liked the extra butter better. She's like, well, I don't know. This is better than at the theater. I mean, what kind of better advertisement do you need than that? She's not all about the AMC stuff like I am. She's a independent analyst, popcorn analyst. Darthman says, as Bigham says, we are climbing Mount Everest by getting involved in AMC. That is true. I mean, everyone that bought AMC in 2021 bought a company that was losing $1 billion a year. You should not ignore how much of a Mount Everest that is. That is a severely distressed company, losing $1 billion plus $5 billion in debt. And we all got in wanting a short squeeze, and we didn't care about those fundamentals. I get it. I was right there with you. But that was 2021, and then the recession happened. Interest rates rose. We spent all of our cash, and we're in 2023 now. So if you hear me changing what I'm talking to you about, I'm not in 2021 anymore. I don't live in the past. I'm telling you what you're dealing with right now. Even if it doesn't feel good, I can't tell you the story I told you 2 years ago. Things change. We have to adapt. Say, Billy, did the shorts cover? Where is that?
Did the shorts cover? No? Then what are we talking about?
$17.96 Patriot says, I thought you were going to bust that chair up for kindling wood. If we have another short squeeze, or when we have another short squeeze, Mr. Patriot, I will bust that chair up, and we'll do it as giveaways. Yes, we'll do it as giveaways on this channel. I'll have it carefully mounted on a little plaque for you. A piece of the legendary chair. What do I think about share recall, Mags? I think share recall is a myth that retail can't let go of. Unsub. What did he say? Fuck that shit. Allow me a moment to explain. Companies do not do share recalls, guys. Lenders do share recalls. Everyone that's loaning out the shares to the shorts, you can Google this. You don't have to believe me. I'm not here to lie to you. Lenders do share recalls. Companies do not. So that is a myth that will not die. You'll never hear me talk about a share recall. It's very irritating to me to hear anybody with any influence ever mention that, because then I know they don't really know what they're talking about. Do I think there was a large startup cost for the popcorn? Yeah, there was startup costs, yes. I mean, you got to do regulatory. You got to do packaging. Like I said, guys, I did not work in the food industry, but I've done a lot of product development. There's always startup costs. The smart way to do it would be to subcontract out to a factory that was already making popcorn, so then you don't got to tool up a factory too. I don't know what AMC did, unfortunately, but if they had to tool up an assembly line, now you got a whole nother set of costs. So holy shit. Bitch, my cat just tried to jump 5 feet up onto this table. You can't jump that high, buddy. He wants to get on camera. Fitz, come here. Come here. I'll put you up here. Come here. He likes to hang out, like right. Why do they always like to hang out right on your keyboard? Fitzy. And I don't know. I need to speak to a CPA. How the startup costs. I'm sure they're amortized over time. On the accounting side, when we get to the financial statements, but that was still an expenditure of cash. Come here. Here's the big boy. You want to say hi? You want to hang out? I have the desk in standing mode, and when I have it in sitting mode, he always jumps up here and he gets right in front of me, so I can't work. But I don't know, he just didn't judge it very well. And maybe he doesn't usually try and jump up here when it's this high up. Fun fact on this cat also, he had 2 hip surgeries when he was a year old. And his hip is not attached to his spine. Whatever that little round bone is on your hip socket, it got fractured. You know, just like dogs can get hip dysplasia. Some cats get that, and he has it. He ended up getting 2 surgeries, and both of his hip sockets are removed, so his legs are free floating. If you can imagine that. Like, I don't even know how that's possible, but he gets around. After a couple months of healing, he gets around. He can jump over a 6-foot fence, climb a tree, do all normal sorts of cat stuff, but his legs aren't attached. Freaking amazing. He's not a jerk. He's a really friendly cat. I'm not a big cat fan. This is, my wife brought him home as a street rescue, as a kitten, and I was not happy. The only thing I don't like more than cats is rabbits. But he won me over. He's very, very friendly and a good boy. How old is he? I guess he's about 5 years old. But he had the hip surgery when he was under 2. We just noticed that he was starting to, when he jumped off the bed, he would make a little whimper of pain. And yeah, we kind of knew what was likely going on there. Got the x-rays. Yep, fractured hip socket. Just a genetic defect. Prone to hip dysplasia. Philip says, Tony, there are some you can deduct immediately. The rest are amortized over 180 months. Thank you, Phil. Are you a CPA? Luckily, you know, well, I mean, I would not have mind in my corporate job to eventually have done a rotation into finance. I was looking at getting a VP job there, so I was trying to rotate through every aspect of the company, but I ended up leaving before I moved into finance. I didn't work in sales, and I didn't work in finance. Most of my jobs were service, manufacturing, engineering, product development, supplier management, and I was looking at finance and sales just to get management experience in those areas. You know, they like well-rounded VPs. But I ended up leaving before I made those rotations, so I don't have all that stuff memorized, and I'm not a CPA. But whether or not you can amortize it, right, it's still a cash outlay. You still got to spend the money. What was the lawyer you mentioned covering the case? You can go on Twitter and look for Chance the Lawyer. And her website is The Chancery Daily. And she has a Substack where she publishes daily coverage of every case, not just AMC. She is so far unbiased about AMC. What a great resource to have someone like that with a decade or more of experience in the Delaware Court, willing to deal with all the hate that comes with covering AMC. But she covers every case that goes through the Delaware Court, every judge. And she provides for a fee, a service to attorneys around the country. So I consider that a very valuable resource and one that should not be ignored. And I'll try and get her on again this week, you know, if there's something interesting we can talk about. A lot of people, when I had her on 2 weeks ago, started blowing up her Twitter, calling her a shill and all these horrible names and insults. It's really sad. how if you don't confirm someone's bias, if you just try and provide logic like I do, or like Chance the Lawyer, people want to literally kill you. The threats and the hate and the just everything that they do. But she's a tough one, and I don't think she's going to go anywhere providing just coverage. It's just coverage. Here's what happened. Here's what I think. She's not pro Adam Aaron, I can tell you that. But she's not pro Moas either. She's just that. She's just unbiased. Grandpa Barney, cheers, brother. I published some thoughts from her on my community tab today about the people that are objecting. And I would urge all of you on the YouTube community tab, if you got a phone or a desktop, pop over there and read that. It is upsetting a lot of people, because what she said is that I'll give you the Reader's Digest version. She said that the Delaware Chancery Court has very limited scope of the types of things that it looks at. It's not there to hear all of your complaints about share count and illegal shorting and stuff like that. They deal with very specific cases involving Delaware corporate law. And everybody that is writing all of these letters with all this ancillary stuff, probably not going to get anywhere with that. Not the right venue. Not to say that you can't get somewhere with that somewhere else, but the Delaware Chancery Court is probably not the place. That's not my opinion. I'm just sharing what she wrote, and I trust what she wrote. Because even when I read, you guys saw, like even when she was here on this channel, she did not speak favorably about Adam Aaron. And a lot of people are like, oh, Tony got owned because she said she doesn't like Adam Aaron. I really don't fucking care who likes Adam Aaron or not. I just want honest truth. And she brings that about the Delaware Chancery Court. And if you don't listen to that, then don't be surprised if what you want with your objections doesn't happen. And don't blame corruption. It's because you didn't bother to understand what you were wading into. Listen to smart people that live there every day would be my recommendation. My other recommendation is, if you're going to object, again, I'm not here to pick sides. If you want to object, you can listen to my channel. We can still be friends. We're all shareholders at the end of the day. But if you want to object, I would strongly recommend you get legal counsel, not try and wing it on your own. You're liable just to have your letter tossed out because you don't know what you're doing. And I don't mean that in a mean way. I don't know what I'm doing. I certainly would never write a letter objecting to a settlement on my own. What is that old saying? An attorney who has himself for a client is a fool, or something like that. Someone help me out. I've in all of my business life, I've had the misfortune. It's never fun, but I mean, sometimes you have to go to court, and I will. And just like in setting up companies also, like I could go to LegalZoom.com and incorporate a company, but I'm more intelligent than that. I hire a lawyer that I can sit down with and talk about all my specific legal concerns about setting up my company. Don't fucking skimp on hiring an attorney. If you got a legitimate gripe, spend the money. If you don't want to, hey, that's fine. I get it. If you don't have it, that's fine. I get it. But don't be surprised if you don't get anywhere with your argument. That's not me trying to be mean. That is me trying to give you the best advice as I can. If you want to object, go talk to an attorney. Many of them will give you 1 free hour of consultation. Find out if you even have leg to stand on. What do we know from the court before AMC could reverse split, Josh? The way it's going to work, Josh, is the settlement is going to be heard, as we know right now, June 29th and 30th. AMC is probably going to pre-file the paperwork with the Delaware Secretary of State and the NYSE to effect the change to the Articles of Incorporation and the reverse split. And as soon as the judge approves the settlement, Adam Aaron or John Merriweather will make a phone call and say, green light on that pre-filed paperwork. And maybe by the next day, you could see a conversion and reverse split. You won't know anything until we know what the judge says. Everything hinges on her decision after the settlement hearing on the 29th and 30th. I can't tell you what's going to happen. I think, 99% chance a settlement's going to happen, a reverse split and a conversion are going to happen. I can't say anything with 100% certainty. But I've been very confident all along that AMC was in very solid standing. What they did, do I like it? Do any of us like it? No. No one likes being diluted, but that's the play we're in. Companies running low on cash. They're probably not going to have enough to survive this year if nothing was done. That is the unfortunate reality. I think Q2 is going to be great. The one we're in right now, it's going to be great. But the other 3 are going to bleed us out. So, we'll be okay. We'll be okay. If AMC can raise money by July, we'll be okay. As far as not going bankrupt. And I know people don't like me saying this, but like, if, for example, we were to go all the way to the end of Q3, like all the way to the end of September with no money raise, look, everyone that's in BBBY, Mullen, all of them wish someone would have told them the truth instead of listening to clickbaiters. I'll be the guy that's going to tell you the truth for AMC. Like, if we make it to the end of September without raising money, there is a chance that the lenders could foreclose on this company, because we will be so drawn down in cash that they're going to say, you're in complete violation of the debt covenants, like what happened to Bed Bath & Beyond. Is that going to happen? I don't know. The lenders, if they think the company could recover, look, anything could be negotiated, or AMC could sell more preferred shares to an institution. Anything could happen, but I'm just saying, if we just stay on this course and don't do anything, we're going to be at high risk by end of September if this all drags out. And I want you to at least be aware of it. Is it likely to happen? No, I think the settlement's going to happen and we'll be okay. But I want you to know where I want. Wifey's saying time to take a break. I want you to know where I'm coming from, just so if the worst ever happens, God forbid, no one can say, nobody warned us. I don't think the worst is going to happen. I think we'll get the settlement. I think we'll have the ability to raise cash. Why do I say that Q3 and Q4 are going to bleed us out? Joey, Q4 I think is going to be pretty good, close to break even. But go watch my video from 2 days ago for the 2023 earnings estimate, and I go through every quarter. Now, we'll know, who is that? Joey? Hang on one second, Joey.
Okay, Tengrit, you send me a bag of extra butter and you take Scarlett, the woman that puts up with you, out to dinner. I'll DM you my address. Deal? And Steven just called me. He's 5 away from AA.
Okay, Steven's 5 away from AA. Grandpa Barney, bless you. Thank you. Scarlett, come wave at least Grandpa Barney. Huh? Come wave a quick hello to Grandpa Barney. Come here. Come here. It's not an option. Just pop your beautiful little face in here for a second. A hand. We got a hand, Grandpa. She's camera shy, Grandpa.
Tony, I need your help.
You need my help on what? Oh my gosh. All right, 9 minutes, babe. 9 minutes.
You always say that shit.
All right, where was I? Joey's question. Joey, watch my video going over the earnings for Q2 through Q4. And we will find out, Joey, on May 5th if I'm close to correct. I try to do this for you guys every quarter for the last couple of years, predict what the quarterly earnings is going to be. And I'm usually pretty close. Like I don't have an awful track record. Do I always get it exact? No, but I feel pretty confident in saying I'm usually pretty close. I'm expecting we're going to lose about $240 million in Q1 and about the same in Q3. Now, could I be wrong? Of course I could be wrong. It's an estimate. Q3, I think, will probably... Shh. Q2, I think we're going to make a profit. Q4, I think, will be close to break even. But Q1 and Q3, you know, if we have $600 million in the bank and we lose $480 million, $220 million left. That's not a lot. The lenders aren't going to be happy. They're not going to wait for us to get to zero, friends. Hey, Grandpa, send me your address and I'll mail you a box of the microwave popcorn. And it is extra butter. Look at that beautiful box. 6 bags plus toppings, Grandpa. Pourable buttery flavoring. DM me your address, Grandpa, and I'll send you a box tomorrow. Yeah, please don't, please don't mistake what I'm saying. And I say that in 2 words on purpose. Don't mistake it. Like, I'm very optimistic about this company, but I also can detach from my optimism and look at the financials for what they are. And then I just got to hope. I got to hope that people go to movies more than I'm expecting, or that AMC makes more from popcorn than I'm expecting. I would love to be proven wrong on any of my estimates, but my estimates are modeled off of years of previous data. So I feel they're pretty accurate. And every quarter that comes in, the model gets better and better. Now we have a couple of unknowns. Grandpa Scarlett's asking if your wife ever gets on the chat and say hello. What, are you going somewhere with that story? Are you going somewhere with that story? Like if his wife came on camera, would you come on camera?
I'm asking her.
I haven't seen her on, no, he just chats. I haven't seen, I showed you a picture of his wife when they were in Hawaii.
All over the internet. Has she been online or not?
Whew. Scarlett, we got the redhead. Fire temper now, Grandpa. She's like, yeah, I got pictures all over the internet too, but anyways, Tony, you said you weren't going to be on a live stream all night. 5 minutes, babe. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. I'm trying to round this out.
5 minutes. Not
Trying to round this out to 2 hours. 2 hours. Started at 10:30. Philip says, Tony, it appeared that if your projections for Q2 through Q4, that we would still have enough cash at the end of Q4 as we did at the end of Q1. I was projecting 480 million loss Q1, Q3, 480 million loss, and then 180 million gain in Q2. So a total of about a $300 million loss.
the difference between 5 minutes.
What's the difference? I think she's trying to tell jokes from in there. Anyways, Trevor says, have her come on and say hello. I did. I always. She's not in a mood to be friendly right now. I can tell she's like getting a little irritated. If I had her come on and say hello, it'd probably be like, guys, tell him to get off camera right now. At any rate, I think it's, you know, if nothing else, like I'm trying to present to you guys. Look, if AMC burned, if we burned 480 million in Q1 and Q3, and we made 180 million in Q2, that leaves us with what? 300 million cash. And that might be fine if in Q1 2024 we start making money. But my thoughts are the executive board and the management team is not wanting to go into 2024 with 1 quarter's worth of cash left in the bank. Like 1 quarter of cash is not a great cushion. Can we all at least agree? Can we be honest with each other? That's not a great plan. And if for example, ape was ruled illegal and you have 1 quarter of cash and you have no way to raise money, I just don't see how that's a good plan. Like I'm perfectly willing for anybody to make a due diligence video from a accounting perspective, how that's a great idea. Companies don't like having 1 quarter of cash left because you don't know what's going to happen. We have projections. We have positive projections. We have high hopes for 2024, but we don't know. And executives don't plan for hope. They plan for contingencies. That's all I did on my fucking job, was plan for the contingencies. Every aspect, if you have an engineering background, every aspect of your job is fishbone analysis, SWOT analysis, planning for every fucking possible contingency. And I know that's how the executive board is doing it too. If you have not worked in engineering or any sort of troubleshooting job and you're not familiar with that type of analysis, I don't know how to explain it to you, but they're not sitting there like you expecting roses. They're planning for everything.
Tony, I'll go live with you and we'll bring our sides on together, tell her.
Patriots. Grandpa says, hey, Scarlett. Grandpa says next live stream he'll go on live with us if and he'll bring his wife if you agree to come on.
What?
He'll agree to bring his wife on the live stream.
Right now?
No, next one, because we're wrapping up tonight. But if you agree to come on the next one, if his wife, can we make a deal? I know, not this weekend, babe. Just say yes. All right. She said, Grandpa, give her a couple days notice in advance, but I'm taking that as a yes. Huh? What?
I've been on before. It's not like it's
Yeah, she has been on before. Like you could look back a year ago. Babe, they want to hang out with you. That's all. They want to see you give me a difficult time, or here they want to see you give me a hard time. She does give me a hard time. I mean, she's a handful. Texas bred redhead. Come on. Philip, did you say you were a CPA? I mean, the way Philip's talking, he sounds like he's got some financial background. Even if we are profitable, it would still be very difficult to grow the company without having a manageable debt load and significant cash on hand. Cash is king. That's what I'm saying. I want to see a look, I understand. I'm going to close this out by saying I understand that dilution is not great for any of us, me included. But it is much better than the alternative, which I know is a very real concern of bankruptcy or lenders accelerating the debt and forcing a Chapter 11. Cash is king. Having $2 billion on the balance sheet completely changes the game, gives the company 2 years of breathing room. And will it force the shorts out? Not immediately. No, maybe not. But cash on the balance sheet, back-to-back profitable quarters in 2024, and paying down some of the debt, you start stacking all of that stuff up. The story completely changes on this company. You're not invested in a company that is losing revenue or flat revenue. You're in a company which is on the cusp of being profitable.
Hey, I replenished your carry.
My what?
Gold butter.
Oh, thank you. I guess she went to HEB. She just said I replenished your Kerrygold Irish butter. Thank you. Could have waited 1 minute, but thank you. Where was I? Cash is king. Fix the fucking balance sheet. Shorts, what do they need to get out of the play? They need strong balance sheet. They need profitable quarters. It's not going to be fixed in one quarter, guys. If there's no catalyst, I want you to be prepared for the long ride. And as long as I see the box office improving and the company's not risking bankruptcy, I'm going to keep telling you. I'm going to tell you exactly what it is, that you're on a recovery play, and it's definitely recovering. It's inarguably recovering, and we're almost there. If I see it flatten out or I see the numbers start turning down on domestic box office, I will tell you that. You can count on me to tell you if there's bad news. I think that's the least I can do. And if you want to stay in after that, that's up to you. But I'm not here to blow smoke or clickbait up anybody's ass. That's what I will deliver to you. And if you don't want to hear that, don't sub to the channel. There's plenty of clickbait opium dealers out there that'll tell you exactly what you want to hear.
Tell her what I call you 10 grit.
I'll tell her tonight. I'll whisper in her ear, Grandpa. Hey, like that 10 grit, baby. Hey, Scarlett. Babe. Grandpa says that my nickname is 10 Grit. Do you know what 10 Grit is? She has no idea about sandpaper, Grandpa. I'll explain it later. I'll explain it to her later, Grandpa. Is that due to the stubble? It's due to my It's due to my very scruffy honesty. Is that a right way to say it, Grandpa? You know, there are trolls and haters that tell you guys I'm lying to you. They don't like that I'm actually being honest. Honesty is tough to hear. I get it. Don't ever mistake honesty as being bearish, though. If it becomes bad, I will tell you, guys, I'm selling. I'm out. I'm done. I won't be scared to tell you on the day that happens, if it ever got that bad. But I'm not there. I will still, you know, in the meantime, when I see a risk like these fuckheads screwing up this cash raise, potentially putting us at bankruptcy, I'm going to tell you straight up, people that are against the settlement don't know what the F they're talking about. They're more worried about their short squeeze than bankruptcy, and they're perfectly content to get bankruptcy. And I do not sign up for that. If you want bankruptcy, if you're willing to risk bankruptcy because you want a MOAS that bad, then this is just not the right channel for you, because, you know, I got to be here for everybody. I have to be here for everybody. I hear your concerns. I understand your concerns. But in no world would I ever tell anybody hero or zero. That's not how I live my life. I would never buy something planning on not a significant investment and hope it goes to zero. Spend $100 on Mullen. Yeah, that's a scratch off ticket. But I got a lot of money in AMC. I will fight to the death before I let some emotional, non-financial person say, put this in bankruptcy if I can't get my MOAS. No. You're not getting rid of me that easy. Anyways, guys, it is 12:37. I went way longer than 9 minutes. Scarlett has some stuff to do tomorrow night, so you can probably expect to see me tomorrow night live. I'll see if I can get a special guest. If you have any suggestions, drop them in the chat right now. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, but I'll leave the chat up for one more minute while I read your comments. And we can have multiple guests too, who's ever available on a Saturday night. And maybe, just maybe, we'll open it up to live viewer call-ins where you can share your thoughts. If that interests you, let me know in the chat too. Love you. Have a good night, guys. If you don't tune in this weekend, it'll always be available for replay. And we will see you on the next one.
So you wanna go to war with me? You're talking like you think you're royalty. You think that I'm afraid, but I don't break. I heard you question my stability. You think I'll fall just like a guillotine, but I am here to stay. Won't look away. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control, feel it in my bones. I'm coming for the